but I cannot see the source of the light. From my family saying my father got expired due to sound like a victim or anything, and at the same time, I don't want to blame entire company.
Imagine losing your vision at 12 and still choosing to see the world with unstoppable clarity. In this episode, we meet Rajiv, who was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, a 1 in a million condition that left him with just 5% vision. It is just to say 5%, but technically he had hardly any vision, right? Despite the darkness, Rajiv, in his own path, went on to crack CA and IIM, two of the most elite academic challenges in the country. This isn't just a story of survival, it's a story of defiance, determination, and unbreakable human spirit. Hey Rajiv, welcome to the show.
Hi Vivek, thank you.
Rajiv, can you explain to our viewers what does 5% eyesight technically mean?
Yeah, thanks Vivek. So when I say 5%, honestly, it's less than 5%, Vivek. I could just differentiate between light and dark. I could see light, but I cannot see the source of the light. So if I have to, elaborate on it, if you just think of a neat or clean glass wall, when it is very neat, you see everything. You can see through it. Like light will pass through from all sides of the corner and from everywhere generally. But if you think when it gets foggy, when it gets dirty, the vision is not very clear. You cannot see through what is on the other side. In my case, when I say less than 5%, it's like a glass wall with lot of dirt on it where even light cannot pass through. So it became dark. And now at this point, most of it is dark, but there are few spots here and there from where light will be passing through. So yeah, sorry if I made it a little complicated, but what I'm trying to say is it's like I could see shadows, but not very clear.
So, Rajiv, that must make day-to-day life quite different, right? How do you manage things that are very visually demanding?
Yeah, as it is not an overnight thing, Vivek, it's like over the period. I lost the vision over the period. For me, I took some time to transition to this situation. I always, for your question on a day-to-day things, yes, it's little difficult, but I found different ways of doing things, either by seeking support from others or by getting used to things, by learning how to navigate around, or by just familiarizing myself around with surroundings. I think all these things help me to deal with my day-to-day activities, or be it at my school, be it at my, like, if I'm working at my office, from a very small thing to a big thing like traveling alone. All these things, I think, just doing things by, in a repeated mode, in a loop, that really helps me to get accustomed and get habituated to things.
Let's start the journey when you were a child, right? Tell us about your school life and the early part of your school life and the later part of your school life. When you got to know about the challenge which you have, how did you manage that? And how did you navigate through the whole education system with limited eyesight?
Yeah. So, yeah, Vivek, I was born in Guntur district, Andhra Pradesh. Then my father was a civil engineer, a government servant. He used to work in Kurnool district, Andhra Pradesh. So most of my brought up was in Kurnool. As I said, my father is a civil engineer, my mom is a housewife, and I have an elder sister. So everything was quite fine till age 12. I was slowly, when this particular problem has started, it all started with, not able to see letters on the blackboard, finding difficulty in, locating the ball while playing cricket. It all started like that, but I didn't, for some reason, I didn't want to say this to anyone. I don't know why, even if I think now, I don't know the reason that I could not share that with anyone. So my teachers in the school have, spotted this. They understood I have a problem. Then they called my father and shared this with him that he has some problem in seeing things on blackboard or playing. Then we went to a doctor in Kurnool. We thought it's normal sight and I started using glasses, but it didn't help much. I used to frequently get headaches, but didn't help much with my vision also. So when things got worsened, I still remember this particular incident. I was coming from my cousin's place in my Nani's place. So to Nani's place by cycle, I could not see the road on side and just went into a bush with thorns, right? Thorn bushes. I went into it and I fell there. I didn't understand how did even I get into it. So that's when my parents thought maybe this is a serious condition. Then they took me to LV Prasad Eye Hospital, one of the famous eye institutes in Hyderabad. That's when it was diagnosed that it's a genetic disorder called retinitis pigmentosa. How this works is it's a genetic disorder, and over the period of time, I will be losing my vision, and at some point, it goes to zero, the percentage of vision. I didn't understand anything of it when doctor was saying that it's all. I mean, he was using all medical jargons. I didn't understand anything of it. Only thing that I understood is he asked me not to play any outdoor games. So that struck me, and I could not take it. I was so frustrated. I mean, I was not that matured enough to understand the condition or situation, the gravity of the situation. I was so depressed, like initially, because it's a sudden shift in life. After almost living for 12, 13 years, if I have to start my life again from scratch, early teens, not much maturity, as I said, it was very difficult. So all credits to my family and friends and teachers back in time who really helped me to transition. It wasn't an easy transition, but it took some time. Slowly getting used to things. Very first thing is my education got impacted. I wasn't able to take notes or learn things. Back then there weren't that much that many facilities also in terms of assistive technologies. So I have to rely on my friends or my family to read out answers for me so that I can remember and get in the exams. So I still remember almost for 3-4 months I didn't do anything. But when I saw my ranks getting impacted or my marks getting impacted, my education getting impacted, then I felt I shouldn't let it go like this. I should do something. So I said family, friends and teachers, they really played a great role in bringing me back to the bringing back me to normal and again start my studies as like before. So yeah, that's how I did my initial stage of education till school and college, almost till 12th. So right after 10, I was awarded with a Pratibha Puraskar by state government of Andhra Pradesh for my performance in 10th. I felt really validated because I was honestly, I think due to this particular condition, due to this disability, I was a very underconfident kid back then. Even now, sometimes I feel I'm very not confident about my decisions or analysis, whatever, right? I used to seek validation. So that time back then, that particular recognition from government, I think boosted me so much to do in life. Then I started taking maths, economics and commerce in my 11th and 12th. Wanted to do chartered accountancy. That's how I started my journey with a disability and continued it. Over the time, I think assistive technologies has played a very crucial role in my education. It's called JAWS. It's a screen reader. It reads out everything on the screen. That's how I study. That's how I work. So yeah, I think that's how my life was.
So Rajiv, when you got to know, when the initial diagnosis was done, did you go out of country or did you try out different doctors to figure out if this is curable?
Yeah. We did try different doctors within India, but we got connected with international doctors as well from London, US, through our cousin, through our family friends. But what we were told was the cure for this condition is still not out, but it is still under research stage. There were, even till date, there is no proper cure, treatment available for this condition. So I'm still hopeful that someday there will be some cure for this, and people with similar condition will get cured, because it is just not about me, Vivek. I've seen a lot of young kids, a lot of people with this condition struggling in life. So I hope in near future something comes up and everybody can start seeing the world again.
Rajiv, one question which comes to my mind is that once you got to know about the condition, were you told that this is going to deteriorate and you are going to get to a point where visibility would be almost near to zero?
I wasn't directly told, Vivek. I mean, I overheard when my doctor was speaking to my parents, but it wasn't a moment where my father and mother made me sit and explained it. No, they never spoke about it. One good, I don't know, I always think it's a good thing, but my parents never used to treat me like a disabled child. No special treatments. They used to just treat me normally, like how they treated me before, even having this condition. So that really helped me to normalize things, helped me to not feel that, okay, I'm not normal. I have to be. I mean, that didn't get to affect my mental state at that point. So yes, the vision. I have an idea that vision will get. I'll be losing my vision, but maybe I said, because of other things that are going in my life, big in terms of music or my spiritual journey, all those things help me to stay calm and just embrace whatever is coming my way. I just try to deviate myself from this. Whenever I get depressed about my condition, I always try to deviate myself from that, and I always try to invest myself into other things like music or studies or reading something, talking to friends. I really like talking to friends. So all those things. So that's how I managed that particular phase.
So if I get it right, you always try to channelize your energies in positive direction.
Yeah, I don't know positive or negative, but just I tried escaping from the situation, at least that escaping from my depressed situation. So through other ways.
Rajiv, at this age, I understand, the level of maturity is very high. And as you mentioned, some of the things which we use to manage the situation. But at that young age, when you were 5 years old, when you were 12 years old or 13 years old, how did you manage that? Because wasn't it demotivating, and what did you do to get that motivation back? Because this is going to be a great lesson for all of us. And that's why I wanted to know.
Yeah, there are multiple things, Vivek, which helped me at that point. As I said, support, family support, friends, teachers. I think more than that, I was always told, okay, in 2 years, you get some medicine or some treatment which can treat your condition and you can start seeing the world. That kept me going in my life. Going, at least in the initial stage, that kept me going, and okay, in 2 years, I'll get a medicine. I have to just wait for next 2 years. I have to just sit tight and focus on my other things so that I get my vision back. That's how I, used to think that way. Particularly those times, just taking one step at a time, having small goals in life. That really helped me at least till 17, 18 years old, to pass through or to move forward. But once I got some maturity in life, I felt, okay, if I'm getting vision, it's good. Even if I'm not getting vision, still fine. But I'm not stopping my journey here. I'll still do whatever I wanted to do or whatever my dreams are. That maturity, I think it only came with time and experience, with facing different experiences. I think, as I said, hope for future is something drove me all my life. And I come from a very religious family. So I used to always think that God would definitely help me navigate through this situation. So even that belief also helped me to navigate this life very successfully. One more thing was, particularly in terms of my education, I still remember I was a very good student in school. Vivek, from the beginning. When my studies got impacted, when I'm not getting good grades or good marks, I told myself that, I mean, teachers used to sympathize. Okay, because he has a problem, he's not getting marks. Otherwise, he used to perform well. But I didn't want to listen that. I still want to do well despite having this problem. So as I said, I tried experimenting myself with by doing different things. How can I understand? How can I study? How can I read? How can I write my exams? So that's how found different options like asking friends. I never one big lesson is don't ever shy away from asking help. So that is what I did in my life. I never shy away in asking for any help. And luckily people are very nice around me. I think they all help me. So I think, yeah, that all these things really help me to successfully navigate through these tough situations, and till the time I got some maturity about life, and no matter what, just move on in life. So yeah.
So at that point of time, like as I understand, you had the motivation and probably that maturity to get through with it. But how about apart from family and some of the close friends, you would be dealing with so many people in school, neighbors, and so on and so forth. How was school in general? Your school friends in general with you? Were they matured enough to understand? Did they bully you? Did they make fun of the situation? Did something like that happen?
In school, I don't think anything of that sort happened. I still remember, Vivek. I mean, everybody was so protective about me. I mean, even if someone is trying to bully me, my other friends used to not let it happen. I mean, I was guarded with very good people around. That's that's a boon that I had. I was always guarded with nice people, positive energies around. At least in school, I never had such situation. And I said, coming from a city or a place where the communities are very tight. I mean, they're very close to each other. They help each other. It's more like a big joint family times. So even that really helped me to make good relationships, not many bitter situations. Here and there, maybe yes, I don't remember much, but most of it is very smooth and very positive. But as I understand where your question is coming from, because I also met people who were bullied a lot, who were made fun, I have seen those situations, but luckily I was treated very well.
That's really good to know. I mean, my question was especially from a perspective that probably at that age, the other kids may not be so matured, right? And probably sometimes unknowingly, they tend to touch the wrong chords. And, they don't understand what the current situation is. They don't understand the gravity of the medical challenge which you are having, and probably end up, being rude, being a bully. And that's the reason I asked you the question.
No, I understand. I mean, I can't think one particular situation, but I think there were like one or two situations, but not anything major. Because Vivek, I was always told that don't take these things very, seriously or too hard. Particularly my parents, they always tell me that not many know about the condition. So they might ask you a lot of questions around it. That doesn't mean that they're trying to trick you around or trying to make fun of you, but it is just the curiosity to know. Yeah, I mean, if I'm thinking back, people have a lot of curiosity to know what happened to me. Because they saw me in both situations. They saw me when I was doing very well with my health. At the same time, they also saw me through this transition. More than making fun, they were very curious. In curiosity, they used to ask a lot of questions, which used to initially hurt me a bit. I still remember, not kids, but like neighbors here and there. They used to come up straight to my parents and ask, why don't you take him to a doctor? They used to suggest a doctor in the next street. I mean, they used to give suggestions as if we never even tried going to a doctor. But I know for a fact, that, literally almost like 6 months to 1 year, we just roamed around different hospitals across India, got connected with doctors internationally. Not just that, I mean, we went to every possible temple, every possible, mosque, church, anything, right? But when suddenly people come up and say that Why don't you try that? Why don't you try this? Or did you not take him to doctor at all? Such questions used to pinch me a bit, but over the period of time, I started, laughing around those questions now. I mean, oh, now they don't even matter to me.
Right. So, Rajiv, I can understand at least at that age when you were in school. So, studying was a lot of listening for you, also, right?
Lot of this. Yes.
Somebody would actually narrate the whole chapter to you and then help you kind of think through it and make you
Yeah.
understand it. How about writing?
So initially I used to write, but as I said, I could not see it used to be not online. So later on, what we did is teachers used to allot someone for writing. So I used to dictate my answers and responses. They used to write for me. So
Wow.
that
But that's a bit
saves time.
challenging, right? Especially for subjects like
Initially, yes.
mathematics and so on.
Yeah, initially, as I said, to frame thoughts around, even though if I know the response or even though if I know the answer, if I have to dictate it word to word to someone, it used to be little challenging because I never did it before. It took some time for me to get used to it, and especially as I said, mathematics. But what I used to imagine everything in my head, like as if I'm writing it with my own hands. I used to imagine things, so that really helped me. So, and maybe because I was very young, my memory was also very strong back then. I still remember, I used to remember all the mobile numbers of my friends, family, just through my muscle memory. I never used to use any phone, to save their contacts or write somewhere. If you ask me what is Vivek's number, I used to just say that out. So even my memory helped me so much to memorize things, imagine. Most of it is imagination. Just imagine things, and so that I could dictate to someone and they can write for me. That's how I used to write my exams also.
That's amazing. Now, my takeaway is also, Rajiv, though you had a challenge with your eyesight, but you had a lot of other superpowers, right? Because imagining having a very strong memory at that age and so much of patience and perseverance to get through this is amazing.
Yeah, I always say myself that, for example, Vivek, let me take this example. When I was in my 6th class, 7th class, I'm very clear that if I have to get good marks in exams, I have to read. If I have to read, I have to ask someone.
Rajiv, that was quite a big challenge. What I wanted to know is how long you had to manage with dictating answers during the exams and how long were you dependent on also getting narration from your friends and family members for prepping up for exams?
I think for quite some time, like almost till I complete my undergrad. Even when I was doing chartered accountancy, I didn't have assistive technologies. I used to rely on my friends and family to get notes to be written for me, or they used to read out for me, and I used to dictate. Only when I joined IIM Trichy, I think I started using screen readers to read. With exams there, also I dictated to someone. Until quite some time, I used to rely on my friends and family, Vivek, even till I did my undergrad, and even while doing my chartered accountancy, also I used to rely on my friends and family to study. It's only when I started doing my PGDM at IIM Trichy, I started using screen reader for my education. But exams, when there, I used to dictate to someone so that they used to write for me. It's only now, I think, in terms of examinations, at least I'm doing it by myself, by typing out in Word or calculating through Excel, all those things. But for quite some time in my life, I used to rely on people.
Right. Rajiv, can we just now that we have kind of in the journey, we have kind of completed this school education. What after that? Well, you went for 10th and then you went for 12th, right? And next you selected maths with economics and you took commerce, right? And then
So I started my chartered accountancy. I did I gave CPT. I cleared it. I wanted to do chartered accountancy, and simultaneously I was doing my bachelor's in commerce. So I think it was during CA IPCC, CA Inter, if you call it. That was the first time I think I tasted failure in my education. CA is such a tough course, tough exam. In the first attempt, I could not. It was I think first time in my life I failed an exam. So I know it's a tough exam, but still handling that failure also actually, was initially very difficult, but I understood, failures in the beginning of your career, how important they are. That actually helped me so. Those actually help. Those values, composing myself or putting more efforts to get something. So that's how I did my chartered accountancy in BCom, Bachelor's in Commerce. Even during that time, I used to always have this dream of doing an MBA in one of the Ivy League schools. That was my dream from even that time. But right after my undergrad, I wanted to build my profile so that I can apply to Ivy League schools. I tried for jobs because work experience is a must requirement for any Ivy League school. So I used to live in Kurnool, but for my interviews or for job tries, I used to travel to Hyderabad or Bangalore. Hyderabad is 200 kilometers away and Bangalore is 300 kilometers away. Literally, whenever I used to get an interview call, I used to travel to these two cities. But most of the times, I was rejected on my face because of the disability. Even despite telling them that I'm a person with disability, when I've got the interview call, on calls they say, please come to the interview. But when I go there, they used to reject me on my face. So I felt so demotivated. I mean, despite pursuing CA, despite completing my undergrad, just because I have a disability, I'm not picked for a role. That was a little disappointing, but later on, I thought, okay, if not in US, why can't I pursue something in India? That's when I gave CAT, and luckily I got an admission from IIM Trichy, and I did my first MBA there.
Wow. And you talked about your first failure, the CA inter exam, right? Did you give it another shot?
Yeah. I gave another shot and I was able to clear it. But I wanted to mention that because first failure teaches you so much. I said, having failures in life is always good. I mean, if you take it in a right way, if you take it, accept in a right way, if you embrace it, it always helps you learn more than a straight away success. So that's why I wanted to mention that.
CA is an amazing degree, right? Like people like once you get a CA, it's like people think that life is set. Right?
Yeah.
And then is it only because of the disability that you were ignored?
Few places it was called out explicitly because of disabilities. Few places they don't say it on face, but when you are not even okay. There are a couple of incidents that I want to share. I went for an interview. They were up to Bangalore, it was 300 kilometers. I was sitting for my turn for the interview. They got to know that I'm a person with disability. They didn't even interview me. What else could be the reason?
Right.
They interviewed everybody else. They said, we'll come back to you soon without even interview. Another experience was I went for an interview. Again, I told them, I informed them even before, sorry, I informed them well in advance that I'm a person with disability, but they called me. I went there in Hyderabad. It's one of the biggest e-commerce giant. During the time of the interview, I tried explaining them how can I work using assistive technology, but they were very reluctant to listen to me nor at least listen to what I'm saying. They just said we can't entertain people with disabilities, and they asked me to walk out of the room. I walked out of the room and I was just standing, waiting for my friends. I was standing aside on the floor. I was just waiting for my friends to come so that they can pick me and I can go. But they didn't even let me stand there. They called their security guards and they took me off the campus. If you don't want to interview me, that's still fine. You can ask me to. I mean, you don't need to interview me, but they don't need to rush me off the campus, right? I mean, I think that is one of the biggest insights that I had in my life. At the same time, that moment really defined my purpose in life. Till that time, I used to think that okay, I should do well in life. I should get a good job, do well, take care of the family. Only those were my thoughts. But only after that incident, I realized that problem is not just for me, it's for the community itself. Then I thought I should do something to community. I mean, when I say community, for people with disabilities. I face this situation. Someone else also might face similar situations. Why should anyone face such situations, such humiliations? So that's when I thought I should do something in life, but something in life for people with disability, but I didn't know what to do. It all, later on when I started my MBA at IIM Trichy, or late while I was working with my first job at Royal Bank of Scotland, that's when I understood what I can do and how I can contribute back to the community. So yeah.
Amazing. Listening to your story actually makes me so angry and frustrated. And it's horrendous that we are not able to support people with, um, such talent.
I also don't want to sound like a victim or anything, and at the same time, I don't want to blame entire company for that particular incident. Maybe mm, that particular individual, that particular employee was um, not with the right thoughts. I think it's a problem with the employee, but I don't. Again, I just didn't blame the entire company, because later in the time I've seen lot of initiatives from the same company. But yeah, somewhere it's the communication has to be passed clearly from top to bottom. It's not just leaders talking about inclusion or embracing things in diversity. That information has to clearly pass through from top to bottom, I believe. That's where if there is some miscommunication between this miscommunication or from top to bottom, I think these things happens. Because I have heard such situations for other people with disabilities as well, especially with employees who are just starting their careers.
Moving on to some really exciting and amazing things that has happened. Sorry. Let's talk about your college life a little bit. IIM Trichy is such a prestigious institution with a highly competitive environment, right? How did you handle the challenge and competition there, and what was life like there?
I think one of my best experiences were in IIM Trichy. Even the start wasn't that great. The start was devastating. When I say that, when I got my IIM admission, we were very happy. Uh, I got a lot of appreciations from friends, family, and many, many, many others. I went there. My parents dropped me to college. I have to for the first time, I have to move out of my house, move out of my comfort zone. Even that was a challenge. I have to stay in a hostel. My father was very worried, particularly that what if I get bullied by other friends because I'm in a hostel. But somewhere I thought, if I'm not taking this opportunity, I'm missing out a lot in my life. So I just went ahead stubbornly to IIM Trichy. Uh, they dropped me there and they went back home after almost 12, 13 days. The next morning is my first class of first semester. Till that time, it was just orientation. I was awake, hanging out with friends till almost 2 a.m. I went back to bed, and at 5 a.m. I got a call from my family saying my father got expired due to a cardiac arrest. Yeah, it was, I could not even process it. I could not even believe it, because I spoke to my father even the previous evening itself. He was doing well. I went blank. I didn't know what is happening. But again, I said my newly made friends there, or my PGP administration at IIM Trichy, everybody was so supportive. I went home immediately. I didn't do anything. I was just sitting blank. They did everything for me. They booked tickets. They arranged stuff. Everything they took care. I went back home, family for 15 days for all the rituals, and I had to come. I came back. I was a little apprehensive to come back because it's just mom and sister. But my mom stood strong for me and said, "It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, so you should go for it." So, and I came back to IIM Trichy, and that particular incident actually, learned me so much. So in 15 days gap, I've seen biggest high of my life and biggest low of my life. So I always think never get high so much when you are doing great and never get into so much low also when you're not doing great. So that's where I thought I have to strike a balance in life so that I can handle myself well. Having said all these things, the rest of my IIM journey was really great. Everybody was so helpful. As a person, I've matured a lot, I believe, at IIM. I've met different people from different cultures, different backgrounds, mindsets. I've done mistakes. I've learned from them. I grew as a person there, and successfully I was able to get a job. I was so happy after my own journey, and particularly a person who hired me there, Mr. Pradeep Torakat. He's the current head of Risk Up India, RBS. He motivated me so much in my life. He always stands for me and he's a great mentor in my life. Only because of him, I was able to successfully navigate through my career, even in professional career as well.
I think, as we discussed earlier, that your family was a great support system. And I think losing your dad would have been a great shock. Also, probably a feeling that some sort of support system has gone.
Yeah.
How did you cope with that? What was going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, it was a sudden thing, Vivek, sudden shock. Honestly, didn't know how to handle it. It's not. It wasn't a situation where I can escape from things like how I used to do as a kid. I have to deal with it. But this particular incident, trust me, had let me mature so quickly as a person because I cannot be that pampered kid anymore. I have to be very responsible. I have to take care of things, not just about me. Till that time, I just have to take care about myself. But now it's not that. You have to think about the family. You have to think about your sibling, your mother. At the same time, your own studies. So I said, as a person, this particular incident taught me so much. Of course, I miss my father, all those things. But I became calmer because I have to be very responsible. Someone who is responsible cannot escape from things or cannot behave like a pampered kid, right? So that made me little calmer in life, and that gave me at the same time gave me strength also to handle things. So yeah, maybe I think time also helped me so much to heal my wounds and have my learning and deal with difficult situations. I think it's not a single thing that made me what I am today. It's, it's multiple things like situations, experiences, people. So
Rajiv, in my life, there are moments when I have self doubts. There are moments when I have a feeling of self pity. Sometimes I feel very weak when things get tough. Right. And probably everyone in their journey, they have that feeling, right?
yeah,
Self doubt is very common.
yeah.
How do you, when you get self doubts or you feel demotivated, what do you do? What's your mantra to get back up and start running again?
Biggest one is this too shall pass. This one line, or I always, whenever I'm in a difficult situation, I think of this line, this too shall pass. That really motivates me. That keeps me, to sit tight and just have patience so that this situation will pass so that you have you'll have a good day again. I think being patient and just being persistent is the main thing, what I believe with it. I said, when I'm low, I think of this too shall pass. Then that gives me a hope for future. When I'm high with happiness, also I think this too shall pass so that I'm cautious about my future. So this really helps me to calm myself, to be balanced and to move forward.
I think let's talk about something very interesting here about your first job.
Yeah.
How was it? How's getting into the corporate world? Again, a different world altogether.
Yeah.
World which has a lot of deadlines, a different sort of pressure. How did you manage it, and what was the feeling?
When I'm entering it, I was really scared with it because after my incident that I've shared before about with a e-commerce giant, I was thinking that all the corporates are like that. Everybody is like that. But and it also has come from a general perception on corporates. When people talk, hey, it's corporate, it works only like this. Somewhere it gave me a sense that okay, corporates are not a great places to be in. You have to just do your job, come back home. But honestly, when I started working with Royal Bank of Scotland. I was part of the credit risk team. Honestly, I didn't know anything about credit risk by the time. I hate I hate statistics during my education, but I got an opportunity in a team where statistics, quant is a major thing. So I was very scared. I said I had a great mentor at RBS, Mr. Pradeep, who really took care of me, who allowed me to commit to take to do mistakes and learn from it. Not just him, the entire team I was working with, be it my immediate manager, my teammates, everybody was so patient to explain me things, to help me learning. There were a lot of accessibility related issues also initially. So I had to explain them, okay, this is how it works. And they were very open to experiment with me. So that's how I started my career at RBS, and slowly from the time where I felt I don't know anything about the team to time where I am one of those people who got early promotion within 16 months. Wow. I think that itself tells that it's not just me who have performed well, it's people around me, the team, the company, or my manager, everybody gave me that strength or gave me that push or whatever, all the required things for me to perform well. I mean, that's the biggest learning in my life. Tomorrow, when I become a manager, when I have to lead people, when I have to recruit people, I would definitely follow this particular thing where I give a space to commit mistakes so that they can learn from it. I give enough resource. Am I giving enough resources? Am I giving enough information or help or support for them to excel in their life? I would definitely do that when I start working again, and when I start contributing.
So, Rajiv, this question comes to my mind is that once life was going pretty good in RBS.
Yeah.
And what made you, what was the trigger for a second MB?
Yeah, I think, yeah. So that was very interesting. Once I said at RBS, I was not just involved in my role in the team as a credit risk professional. I also got opportunity to work for, as I said, my community, people with disabilities, as part of their DEI wider network. I was able to run a lot of initiatives to spread awareness, and I was very happy doing both my job and also simultaneously some work in this area. That's when I was one day I was having a chat with my mentor again, Mr. Pradeep. I was telling him that I wanted to do an foreign situations I could not do. He was the one who told me or gave this idea, like, why not do it again? Now you have good job, good profile, you're doing things in your life. So why don't you put yourself again in front of them? Let's see how it goes. And he was so supportive. That's when it started for me. I mean, I started thinking about it. I started preparing for, GMAT, GRE, and, so that I can, reapply again. So that's how it started. It is not just the profile or career which gave me that strength to apply, but also the opportunities that I've got in the company with it, particularly. Being a disabled, I never thought I could travel alone. But again, I was given such opportunities where I travel alone for the professional work, but I've taken care so much. So that gave me a sense of independence also. So with all those things, I thought, okay, I can do an MBA in a foreign country, still able to manage myself alone and still achieve my dreams. So that's how it all started. And it started after 3.5 years, I wanted to, more of my comfort zone. Then I got an opportunity from Deloitte. I moved to Deloitte, Hyderabad. Again, my manager was so supportive even in that decision. Luckily, my teammates in Deloitte also were very supportive, very, very supportive, even till date. So all these things gave me a lot of strength, a lot of courage to apply again and pursue my dream. That's how I got an admission at Columbia Business School for my second MBA.
Awesome. How has life been in Columbia Business School?
It was great. Vivek, I mean, there were a few milestones in my life which taught me so much. As I said, one, when I suddenly turned a person with disability. Two, when I lost my father. Third would be my experience at Columbia Business School. Because for the first time, I traveled out of the country. I'm staying alone here. it's not like in India where you get all sorts of support or all sorts of help. I have to manage things, everything like from uh, cooking, from cleaning, and commute to school, assignments, projects. Both I have to manage myself personally and also academically. Initially, it was very tough. I honestly I still remember first week, there wasn't a day me without, you know, crying. I literally cried a lot. I called my mom and said, I will come back. She's like, nothing doing, manage, deal with it. So, I mean, again, it's not a lone journey here. Luckily, again, here also I got good friends. My cousin brother stays very nearby. My family, I have a family here in Delaware, Boston, and Phoenix. All my cousins, my family again, my friends again supported me so much here. I was able to successfully complete my first year at Columbia. Recently, I've completed my summer internship and started my second year now. It's going very well. Very different experience from what I had in India, learning so much every day.
Rajiv, when you look back on your journey, right, we pretty much covered your student life and then IIM Trichy and then now Columbia University. When you look back on your journey, is there anything you think you could have done differently to ensure you were more comfortable? Or the environment around you could have done things more differently so that you were better supported?
Yeah, definitely, Vivek. I mean, two things. One, I moved out of my comfort zone only after my undergrad. When I, for the first time, went out of my home and joined IIM. Had I have an opportunity now, I wanted to experiment myself with different things, even at very young age. Like, for example, during high school or after 10th at least. I wanted to more of my comfort zone even then so that I could explore different things, places in, at least within India, different places. Also, I somewhere thought that would help me to gain my confidence. As I said before, I was a very underconfident child. Even now, sometimes I'm very underconfident. Sometimes I need some validation. It's all because most of the times I was doubtful of my abilities. Had I gone out of my home or out of my comfort zone very early in my life, maybe I would have got more confidence. Maybe I would have done things very differently. That would really, I think maybe at that age, it would have been much difficult, but later on, it would have helped me so much. That is one thing. The other thing is stop my dream of being active in sports. After diagnosed with disability, I totally stopped outdoor games. I was focusing on music, which I love doing, of course, but I should have explored you know, opportunities or options where even I can be part of sports, still having disability. I think even that would have helped me to gain more confidence in presenting myself. So I think these two things are the main things I always think.
So, what's your hobby, Rajiv? What do you do when you're not studying? And obviously not doing the rest of the chores.
Like I said, music is something I'm pursuing since my childhood and I'm still doing it. I did my diploma in Carnatic music.
Wow.
And now I'm also learning light music with Ramachari sir in Hyderabad. Apart of it, I think I really like talking to friends, going out with them. I like watching movies, not a big movie buff. So I mostly watch Indian movies. Yeah. I think these are the main two things that I do.
What's the plan for like what are your aspirations? Where do you want to see yourself and what's your plan for future?
I think post my MBA from Columbia, Vivek, I would like to seek opportunities in finance or related roles in Fortune 500 companies. I want to explore different roles within finance function. I really like finance as a subject. I had even my educational background or my previous jobs are more from finance division. So I want to leverage those skills even here. And in long term, I would want to explore different opportunities or different roles within finance and grow as a senior leader. I'm aspiring to be a CFO in the next 15-20 years of a multinational company. It's a big dream. It's not an easy dream for sure, but um, I just want to put myself out and try my best to be there. That is on professional side. On personal side, as I told, I want to start something for people with disabilities, particularly young kids with disabilities. I want to mentor them, guide them, let them know what opportunities they have in the world. Because when I turned blind, I didn't have any reference point to take. I didn't know whom to ask, what to ask. So I want to be that guide to who are going through a similar situation so that they need not go through all the rough paths that they have to otherwise. So I would like to start something on those lines as well in my career. I mean, right after my MBA and see how it goes.
That's such a great thought, Rajiv, because I sense that, especially with young kids,
Yeah.
the maturity levels are not that high.
Correct.
And going through such a challenge would be such a big ordeal.
Yes.
And if people like you can help them out, talk to them, guide them, I think they may, it's nothing, that's the biggest support they can get.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're easy to mold also. So I really like spending time with kids, especially mentoring them. So not just kids with disabilities, but kids without disabilities as well. So I want to just set up some platform where they can freely come and talk, not just with me. I want to collaborate with good bunch of colleagues, friends, even like you, to
Up for it.
mentor the kids so that we see a better generation.
Rajiv, it was so great talking to you. We have learned so much from you in last 40 to 45 minutes. There are a lot of people who are literally, and at times even we end up complaining about so many things in life. But actually, just talking to you, I realized there were so many challenges, and at such a young age, when you literally had superpowers at that age to get through those. Sincerely wish and pray, Rajiv, that you become a CFO of a really big multinational. And I'm sure in next 10 to 15 years, we will see you there. Do remember us when you get there. And two, the thought that you want to start something, especially for people who have these challenges at a young age, is so noble. And trust me, it can literally change lives of people because it becomes very difficult for me to imagine that at that age, people taking such challenges in a way that you did it. It actually, like, you need to be having such high level of maturity and such high level of motivation for simple things that you told me, right? For example, the doctor told you not to play outside. It's so difficult to tell a child not to play outside and for the child to absorb that, that's what my future is going to be. With such hardships, what you have achieved is so amazing. I mean, even a person without disability cannot achieve the level of achievements and the accolades which you have had. Maybe I'm Trichy, maybe. I mean, people end up giving so many attempts for CA. I have seen people literally, kind of giving it up and
Yeah, I know.
following different paths. But you ended up clearing it. And then again, doing your job in RBS and again, then to giving a second shot at MBA at Columbia Business School. Where again, there are so many challenges apart from studies that you have to manage your life yourself. There is little support available, at least in the campus where you stay. It's such an amazing story. I hope whoever listens to this podcast, it's a huge motivation for people. If they ever feel down, they should actually go through this podcast and listen to what kind of hardships you have had and how you have actually crossed them. Thank you.
We all have things that we're believing for,
Thank you so much for
dreams that we want to accomplish, problems we're hoping will turn around. Maybe it's to see our family restored, to lose some weight, to break an addiction, to start our own business. But sometimes as it goes on month after month, even year after year, and we don't see anything changing, it's easy to get discouraged and think, it's never going to happen. This is as good as it gets. I'll just learn to live with it. We all go through disappointments, setbacks, loss. Pain is a part of life. It's easy to get discouraged, even bitter. Think, why is this happening to me? Sometimes we look at pieces in our lives that don't make sense. The key is what we do in our times of pain. Pain will change us. Heartache, loss, disappointments, they don't leave us the same. Every painful time, even though you don't like it, it's developing something in you that can only be developed in the tough times. Eventually, that will pass. You'll get through it, but you will be different. In those times,